All right. Hey, thanks for joining us. It is the Firm Foundation podcast from Foundations for Living, and I am glad you joined us. So, we're going to be talking about a few things here today. It's good to be back. We took a few weeks off from our podcasting as we were in the throes of summer, and there's a lot of different programs, outreaches going on here at the center. And I got some exciting news to share on this podcast. So, I want to remind you, because we did put out a teaser, that we have an event coming up November 12th here in Wapaka, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, if you comment, it's not enough to like, not enough to give it a heart or anything like that. You have to comment. And if you comment on any part of this show during the live feed, not on the playback, then you will be entered to win 2 tickets to our event. So again, so let us know who you are. Let us know where you're from. We assume a lot of people are local that watch this podcast, but at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity for people all over the world to watch this. And I found this to be true with podcasting with our church. We stream on another platform, and we have people every Sunday watching from our hometown all the way to last Sunday to the Netherlands. So pretty cool opportunities for people to watch, and that is the beauty of a podcast. So thanks for joining us. So yeah, we have a lot going on here. Let me recap what we did this summer. So we were involved in the Wapaka 4th of July Day Parade. You may have seen our float. We were going with the DC comic hero theme with Wonder Woman and all that. But the thrust of it was that not all heroes wear capes, and that's where our volunteers come in. We wanted to celebrate our volunteers here at the center. And then we had a Foundations Fest, our first annual one. And this was where we invited the Refinery Church to come in and do live music. Radiant Fellowship came in and supplied all the meats. And then we had a bounce house, and we gave away a ton of school supplies. We served about roughly 34 families at that event. So it was really good. If you're familiar with Foundations for Living, we work in collaboration with the Salvation Army, and the folks there said that was a spectacular start to this annual event. So I'm pretty excited about it, and looking forward to the next one already. And the fact is, I'm already, we have some things in place, but we're already looking to the summer for some really cool opportunities, which I'll talk about in this podcast. So first things first, what's going on at Foundations for Living, and how can you be involved? And again, comment on this stream. If you're watching on Facebook, just comment on the video. If you're watching on YouTube, just comment on the video, and you'll be entered in for a drawing for 2 tickets to our event, which I'll talk about momentarily. But here we are. It is September 27th, which means we are a little over a month away from our warming center season to start. So what that means is that Foundations for Living has a middle portion of our building, which is turned into a warming shelter for homeless folks. It's a very cool thing. It runs from November 1st to April 30th. And we let people in. We don't discriminate. We don't do any of that. If they need a place to stay, they're welcome to do that. And we put them through an intake process, of course, to make sure we meet their needs and get them all the supplies they need. When they check in, what's really cool is they get a brand new pair of pajamas, new toiletries, new socks, new underwear, and then hats, gloves, winter jackets, whatever they need to get through the winter months. And so this is something that we do, and this is something that we currently need volunteers for. And what I'll do is I'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's jump to the big event so you know what you're commenting on, okay? I'll put it up on the screen. Our big event coming up is the Fall Gala. And what we're doing there is we rented the Danes Hall of Wapaka, which is on North Main Street. Big, beautiful building. And what we'll be doing there is having an event fully catered. It's going to be a full-on Thanksgiving-style meal with 2 choices of meat. Of course, turkey, given the time of year. And second will be meatballs. But there's also going to be cranberries, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and Three Angels Bakery of Wapaka will be catering all of the desserts. So they'll be bringing in cupcakes and cookies and things like that. So it's really going to be a good time. But again, if you want to be a part of that, this is what we'll be giving you. What we're selling is the ticket. Now, the ticket will get you in the door. Tickets are $25 per person. And if you want to sponsor a table, you can do that. The cost to sponsor a table is $300, but that includes 8 tickets to the event and your logo or your business or your church posted on all of our printed material that evening. So we've already have 2 table sponsors. We have quite a few tickets sold. Now there is limited seating because it is a smaller. It's a big venue, but we can only fit so many people in this place. So you'll want to stop over and pick those tickets up. You can go to fflwapaka.org if you want to purchase tickets online. Let me put that web address up on the screen. fflwapaka.org. You can purchase tickets online for this event or stop in and purchase tickets. And it's a great way to get involved in the community, hear about what's going on. Now, here's the crux of it all. Well, when you come at 5 o'clock, the meal starts at 6, program at 6:30. At 5 o'clock, we have a trio coming in, classical trained musicians and graduates of UWM and Lawrence University and stuff. And they'll be providing the pre-program music. And then we will go straight into the meal at 6:30, I'm sorry. But then we have our guest speaker, Lori Gannier, is going to be sharing with us for a while there regarding a curriculum she wrote, a curriculum that we've incorporated here at Foundations for Living called It's a New Day. And that deals with overcoming past substance abuse, trauma abuse, and all sorts of things. She really has a heart for people that have dealt with that. And so she's going to be our keynote speaker. She comes to us from Milwaukee, has been a friend of mine for 27 or more years. And just a phenomenal heart to serve people. We had her up here not so long ago to do a training for It's a New Day so that people can learn how to walk people through this 12-step biblically based process, and really a fantastic program for people to enroll in. So Lori's going to be our speaker, and then I will come up and share with you about the future of Foundations for Living. Now, we have some very exciting days ahead of us, days that are going to expand past our current facility, all things that I want to share with you. But before we do that, we're working diligently as staff and board to make sure all of our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. And so we have a lot of meetings with the city officials here in Wapaka to talk about zoning and permits and all of that stuff. In fact, today we have a meeting at City Hall to discuss these very things. But I'm very confident that I'm going to be able to share the good news with you on November 12th at this event. And so we want you to be there. We want you to be the first to know what is happening here at Foundations for Living that is going to expand our reach of ministry and programming here at Foundations for Living. So again, if you want to purchase a ticket, go online, fflwapaka.org, and purchase those tickets for $25, or stop in the office. We always love to see people. So stop in, purchase tickets, and if you have a church, a business, you just want to do a table under your name, that's fine too. You can purchase a table sponsorship for $300, but that comes with 8 tickets to the event, and all of our printed material that night will have your logo on it. So very exciting stuff coming up here at Foundations for Living. And if you want to win tickets to this event, go ahead and comment. I have my handy dandy feed up, and I will, as I see names commenting, I will write your name down, put your name into a drawing right here on my desk, and I will draw a name in the time that we have left here together. So very exciting stuff. Now, as I mentioned before, we have the warming shelter season coming up. November 1st, it starts. October 14th and 15th. If you've thought about working in the warming shelter, there's 2 different aspects to it. First, there is the intake host. This is a person that would come in, man or woman, would come in at 6:30 and begin to set up. At 7 o'clock, the doors are open. folks that need a place to stay, to get out of the elements, they can stay here. We have bunk beds. As I mentioned before, we equip them with everything they need, from toiletries to brand new pajamas and more. And so they are able to get those products. And then we offer them a meal. And so this intake host or intake hosts would work from 6:30 till 9 or 9:30. That's it. You would basically treat our warming center as a living room where guys can come in, relax, get unwind from the day, and just talk. And you can speak with them about things that are on your heart, or just be an open ear for them to listen to, for them to listen, to have someone that listens to them. And it really is a fantastic thing. So that is called the intake host. Okay, and that you can sign up for. Soon our calendar will be up on our website, where you can sign up for those events and choose your days. We have a couple people that they say Thursday's their day, and they just run down the line and take every Thursday. We have some people that say Monday nights, and they would rather be the chaperone, which leads me to the second point of the volunteer base and how we rely on people here. A chaperone comes in after the intake host. The intake host is done by 9 or 9:30. Okay, that's their thing. And a chaperone then would stay here the night from 9:30 until 7 a.m. the next morning. Now that's when the guests have to leave. And so when they leave, that's it for the day. We are under city restriction, and they have to go. So Debbie Grissetta says, "This is so wonderful. I would love to go to this. My heart is to help people." So Debbie, I'm going to put your name in the drawing. I'm going to write your name down right now. Of course, Debbie and I and her husband Vito go back a long ways, and it's good to have you watching this morning. So I got your name up, and I will draw that name, or your name, or someone else's name in a little bit, and see what happens. So there's the overnight chaperone. They basically are there after everybody's checked in. Everyone's got to go to bed. It starts 9:30, 10 o'clock, lights out. And all the chaperone does at that point is sleep. And if there's an issue that arises during the evening, which I'm going to be honest with you, in a warming shelter, you deal with all kinds of people. There are many, many, many nights that there are no issues. There just aren't. People are tired. They want to go to bed. And so they end up going to bed. Now, there have been a couple issues over the last couple of years, but that's the nature of this ministry. And you have to be willing to deal with those sort of things. But our staff is always available to come in and help navigate those maybe more difficult times that you might experience as a chaperone. But again, I say 7 a.m. is the checkout because the city requires us to follow those guidelines. So these folks, they go about their way, which raises a lot of good questions. If they're homeless, where do they go? Where in Wapaka would they go? On the weekdays, it's there's a couple options. There's the library. They can go and hang out there, or there's the rec center downtown, the Hendrickson Center, technically. And this is the place downtown, kind of a kitty corner from Dairy Queen, with 2 gymnasiums and resource centers and free Wi-Fi and a senior center and all of that, where they can go and hang out. Then again, that night, about 7 o'clock, they come back to the center, check in. And once they do the longer intake the first night, all they got to do is check in the second night. We ask them, are you willing to abide by the rules? They say yes. And then they are free to go for the evening, enjoy a warm meal. And there's some really cool things going on regarding Foundations for Living, regarding meals. Some of the partnerships that we've formed recently is I was in touch with one of the nursing homes in town, and they're going to be sending over their extra meals that they serve each day. And this is going to work well for our warming center. Thursday at 1 o'clock, I'm meeting with an organization called Feed America, and we were approved for their program. And so we are going to be stocking our pantry so that it's never empty for folks that need food as well, or to the general public that needs groceries and help and things along those lines. So there's a lot of good things going on, but there's also the meal train. So maybe you're saying I can't do intake host. Maybe you're saying I can't do chaperone. Well, how about cooking? That's a huge part of our warming shelter season. our program director and case manager, Jill Polifka, has put together the meal train. It's a website where you just go and log in, sign up for the meals you want to provide, and then you bring it that night by 6:30, I think it is, 7 o'clock. And that way the folks that we serve have a warm meal to enjoy while they're unwinding from the day. And quite honestly, some of these days they're tough. It's winter in Wisconsin, and so they end up out about their whole day, and then they come back. They're wet, they're cold, they're ready to be in for the night. And that's where we also have a shower facility where they can take a warm shower. And not all of the folks that stay here necessarily are just wandering about during the day, wondering what to do. A lot of them get jobs. We help them find jobs. We refer them. And so they may be coming from the foundry, they may be coming from a restaurant, and but nonetheless, they end up walking here. And so we are able to provide these services. One of the exciting developments that we've had over the summer is that we were able to secure and purchase a van, passenger van. And so this will help in a lot of cases if it's a really bad day out, or somebody needs to get to their medical appointment. We can drive them now to wherever they need to go, because we have if you see a white van rolling around town, it says Foundations for Living on the side. That's us. So some pretty cool things in regards to all of what's going on here at the Warming Center. Now, if you're interested in becoming a volunteer as an intake host or a chaperone, then what I need you to do is be here on October 14th or 15th. And what's going to happen there is that Michael Hall, our assistant director, and Jill Polifka, they're going to be running a volunteer orientation, and they're going to go through every aspect of the program, answer all of your questions, and really just want to make this experience for you very pleasurable and easy to do. Last year was my first year being intake hosts, and it wasn't difficult. The first day, you had to learn the paperwork a little bit, but it's minimal. And this year we've really transformed our intake process to streamline it down to just a few minutes, even on their first night, and they're in. So that's something really to consider. So that's October 14th and 15th, 6 o'clock. You don't have to be here for both nights. Just choose one or the other. It's a Friday and Saturday, and Michael is always good about doing that because he is very cognitive of everyone's schedules and wants everyone to be a part. I do believe we're going to record it as well. So worst case scenario, we can have that video available should you miss the meeting. But like last year, there was a room full of people that were ready to hear what it takes to be an intake host or a chaperone at the warming shelter. So those are the things we have going on. A lot of exciting stuff. And again, if you're watching right now and you want to throw your name in the hat for 2 tickets to our gala event, do that. Comment. Debbie has already, and we'll see if anybody else comments. Let me throw the picture back up and talk a little more about this gala event. So the Danes Hall. When I moved here in 2004, it was a dive. It was a big antique mall is what it was. But the Kohler Corporation and a few other sponsors revamped this place, and it's absolutely beautiful now. If you've ever been downtown, you look all the way down at the end of North Main Street, you'll see the big building there. And so once again, you purchase tickets through us, through our website, and you will be on your way to enjoy a nice evening. It's going to be business casual, kind of event. And again, Lori Ganier's coming in. Lori was on our last podcast, in fact. And so if you're watching this and you're wondering who Lori is, go back in our Facebook videos or on YouTube and watch the interview with Lori. You will be blessed by it and the ministry that she's doing. There was a handful of people from our center that has already been trained. And so, through her It's a New Day curriculum, and it's really a fantastic resource that any place like ours or even churches should look into hosting and become trained in it. The training lasts a few hours, but then you get the book, you get everything that you need to run the course in your own church. And what's great about it is it's faith-based, and so it's a 12-week program, really good thing. But then we have the Tabula Nova Ensemble. They'll be doing the pre-program music upstairs in the main dining hall. We have a friend of mine, Tatiana. She's flute, her friend's on clarinet, and her other friend is a classically trained guitarist. So it's going to be really nice music during the event and up till the program. But again, we have it fully catered, full Thanksgiving style meal. And then you're going to be able to hear about the future of Foundations for Living and how we're expanding our reach in this community. Again, I cannot, I really want to, but I cannot give out all the details right now simply because we're working with zoning and permits and want to make sure that we get everything lined up before we start talking about this to the general public. So a lot of great things coming up. And I realize this podcast isn't necessarily going to hit on anything heavy, but I did want to make you aware of those. Our warming center's coming up, and we want you to volunteer. We need you to volunteer. So contact me or call the office if you want to become a volunteer here at our warming center. We have the gala coming up. We have the exciting plans after the gala. And boy, what a great year it's going to be. So, all right. So here's the deal. We are going to draw a name. And if I'll give you 2 more minutes, how about that? I'll give you 2 more minutes if you want to enter the drawing. All you have to do to win 2 gala tickets is to comment on Facebook or YouTube right now, not on the replay, but right now. And I will draw the names and we'll see who gets 2 tickets. That's a $50 value to the gala event on November 12th, right here in Wapaka. So, it's exciting thing. Honestly, before I became the executive director here, I heard that there were fall events that we used to do, or spring events too. Last year we did earlier this year, we did our spring event virtually. But we're excited to bring back the live gala events because we know people like to get out and fellowship and enjoy good food and hear encouraging stories. So it's really going to be a special evening at the Danes Hall of Wapaka. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to draw a name. You hear that? Okay. So the winner of 2 tickets to the gala event at the Danes Hall is Debbie Grissetta. So Debbie, you are the winner of the 2 tickets. You can contact us, call the office, stop in for them, and our office manager, Val Smith, will make sure you get them. So thanks for commenting and supporting that. So anyways, we're going to continue on with our podcasts every week, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. And the other thing we're bringing back is for our volunteers. We're going to be bringing back our volunteer luncheon. And our first one is this Friday at noon here at Foundations for Living. And what we do with that is every other week we provide a nice meal where everybody can gather around, all of our volunteers, and just there's no program or anything. We just enjoy the company of one another while we're eating a good meal. So this Friday, if you volunteered at Foundations for Living in the past, or you plan on volunteering in the future, come on over, grab some lunch this Friday at noon here at the center. And I would enjoy hanging out with you as would the rest of the staff. And we look forward to seeing you then. So I hope you have a fantastic day. And certainly if you have any questions about Warming Center or the gala event, you can visit us online. The address is on the screen, or call us, or just stop in. It's totally fine. Stop in. If you haven't gotten a tour of the place, we'll give you a tour. And if you haven't heard of the program before, you just want to hang out and talk, that's fine too. Stop over. So, all right, Debbie Grissetta, you won. Contact the office or stop in for your tickets. And we will see you guys again next week on the Firm Foundation podcast as we get into a little bit of a heavier topic. Have a good day.